opening celebration of Steinmetz Hall, which is sponsored by Dr. Phillips Charities, Ravago Americas, and Coburn Family Foundation. It is also supported by Chuck and Marjorie Papp Steinmetz, Anonymous, Joyce Green, Lynn and Joe Conti, Oros Family Foundation, and Bob Vanderweide and Shelby Norwich. The grand celebration season for the Dr. Phillips Center is also supported by Advent Health, Walt Disney World, Massey Services, Experience Kissimmee, and American Momentum. I'm Jackie Ramos, the Senior Director of Communications for the Dr. Phillips Center, and I will be guiding us through today's ceremony. At this time, I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for the national anthem, which will be performed by elite students from the Dr. Phillips Center's Advent Health School of the Arts. They will be joined by members of the Orlando Police Department Honor Guard and a mounted unit.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets from its ramparts bursting and gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the brave, the
Please remain standing as we welcome Rabbi Stephen Ankel from the Congregation of Reformed Judaism for today's blessing.
Thank you. I'm extremely blessed and honored to be here today as Chuck and Marjorie's rabbi. We learn that every time people gather for the sake of heaven, it shall prove faithful and fruitful. As we dedicate Steinmetz Hall on this beautiful day, every time a person is touched deeply by a piece of music, Steinmetz Hall will become sacred space. Every moment that feet touch the floor and dance, and it profoundly reverberates in the human heart, Steinmetz Hall will become sacred space. Each time a spoken word inspires and totally moves the human spirit, Steinmetz Hall will become sacred space. When awe and wonder abound about the limitless capabilities of human creativity, Steinmetz Hall will become sacred space. As we dedicate Steinmetz Hall today, we ask that the Creator of creators bless all of us here today. May the givers be blessed. May the builders be fulfilled. The performers find satisfaction. The audience be moved. Then truly this space will be held as a fruitful and sacred space. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi Ankel. You may take your seats. Now please turn your attention to the video boards for a brief presentation.
one of the first things that I did when I became mayor was task Jim Pugh to help me figure out how to build a performing arts center.
We acquired the land shortly after and
ensure this center really is to our community.
We want the community to come here to connect, to experience the arts, and it can be life-changing for everyone.
We have to do something that's going to be very important for the city, and we have to try to think about making an Orlando building.
Can your design follow the intent of our business and our purpose? Because we want to achieve something much greater.
Because we actually started thinking about this decades ago, the Orlando community had a very good idea of what they wanted and how they wanted to bring the arts groups together and what kind of program they wanted to bring. And that gave us an opportunity to create something that was very bespoke, really tailored to this community's needs.
When Mayor Dyer was elected and Jim Pugh had the chance to get involved with this project, we had the chance to assemble this wonderful team, and it was the starting moment of creating a dream.
it'll be beautiful and the acoustics will be wonderful. It'll just be the perfect place.
But building a performing arts center is one of the most complicated things you can do.
When you do something of this size and magnitude, it's easy to talk about it.
You know, for 30 years or so, we've been trying to build this center. It was Mayor Bill Frederick's dream, and then Mayor Glenda Hood's dream, and then Mayor Dyer. But where was the funding going to come from? The last thing you want is to start a major project and have to stop.
This project is so complicated. It's a public-private partnership. It's not just about fundraising. You have to work with the county, the city, all the government agencies, and then you also have to go out to the community and seek philanthropy to make it grow. I mean, $600 million is a lot of money.
The building was cut in half, and when it was cut in half, we still didn't have the funds to build phase one.
I fought to ensure that the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center was adequately funded because I know the importance of the role that it plays in this community.
How do we keep this afloat? How do we keep this thing going? How do we pay for it?
Orlando has been known for its tourism industry, and we're a lot more than that.
To bring a performing arts center to Orlando that would be world class and that would bring in not only culture from other places, but would also have a chance to showcase our own.
It provides that place where children have the opportunity to come to and to dream big.
City Hall is right across the street, so my office looks right down on the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. And what makes my heart really feel good is when I see 50 yellow school buses and know the school kids are in the building having an experience that they otherwise would not have had.
We have been talking for a number of years about transformation. This facility has transformed downtown Orlando.
I'm impressed with the drive and the motivation and the persistence to keep going through recessions, through all the fundraising that had to go on.
We knew it was going to be a long time. It was going to take effort, but good things often do.
The easy decision would have been back then, let's just scrap the design and do something that can fit into the existing money and not hold out for the big idea. A lot of centers, when they have to phase a project, they never finish them.
We have built something that the entire community and the state of Florida can be proud of.
So it's almost hard to believe that we're really about to unveil the totality of this center for the community, for the arts groups, for everyone who cares about having a really vibrant, exciting community. You can't do that without the arts, and the arts need a place to shine.
The Performing Arts Center will never be finished. We will be continually doing new and creative things, and this building will be here 200 years from now. So there will be a lot of evolution that occurs.
So there's a lot more to do, not only inside the Dr. Phillips Center, but also around the 9 acres and an impact in the community.
This will be the best performing arts center in the whole world.
Thank you. Now let's welcome Dr. Phillips Center Chairman and founding donor, Jim Pugh.
Thank you, Jackie. Look around. Look, there's not a cloud in the sky. Isn't this amazing? What a beautiful day to think about building a performing arts center. Buddy Dyer gave me this job 18 years ago. He probably knew it would take 18 years. I didn't. I think he was mad at me. So today we celebrate the opening of Steinmetz, and I want to thank Chuck and Margie for their huge contribution to make this Steinmetz Hall. We built a building on rubber pilings, so when a big truck runs down South Street, it won't create vibration, and as you well know, vibration is sound. So we've done a remarkable job, I think. There's some people here that I'd like to maybe take a stand. I see them in the audience. First of all is Barton Myers. Barton is the architect that designed all this. He's out of Los Angeles, California. He now lives in Connecticut. Barton, we're proud of what you've done, and I know you are. Thank you. And sitting next to Barton is Damon Doria. Damon is the sound specialist that creates the sound in the building. We'll have the best sound in the world. You can drop a nickel on the stage and you'll hear a click on the top row of the Performing Arts Center. I like Millie Dixon. Billy's been a huge part of this sound. I'm sorry that Richard Pilbrow couldn't be here today. He's been through a theater design. He's done stuff for 50 years. And Whiting Turner, the contractor. Look at this beautiful building that Whiting Turner has built. They're out of Washington, D.C. and did a spectacular job. You're going to hear from Val Demings in a minute and Jerry Demings. I know Damon Soto is here. Where are you, Damon? There he is right there. Stand up and take a bow, Damon. Thank you. We're proud to have you. Well, this is a special day and a special opportunity to have Buddy Dyer come up. Buddy's took a lot of risk when he appointed us to build this thing, and I think we've fulfilled it. So I think we've done the right thing and made a huge contribution for downtown Orlando. Here's the best mayor of the best city ever, Buddy Dyer.
I am so pleased to be able to celebrate this historic day. I hope you will all remember that on January 14th, 2022, you were here to celebrate the opening of Steinmetz Hall and the completion. I know Kathy and Jim said that it's never going to be done, but from my estimation, it's pretty close to done on what the original vision was. And I'm going to go ahead and self-declare that this is, in fact, the best performing arts center in the entire world. And I'll fight with anybody that wants to disapprove of that notion. So we have a saying around City Hall that these are the days we live for. And these, in fact, are one of the days that we live for. And I don't often dress for an occasion, but if you can see this tie, and you saw it in a number of the pictures, I've worn this tie 4 times. So 2 groundbreakings, phase 1, phase 2, and now 2 ribbon cuttings, phase 1 and 2. So I'm probably going to retire that as well. I know there are a number of elected officials, several of which have been introduced, but I need to introduce my great partners at City Hall, and that's our Orlando City Commissioners that are here with us today. So District 1 Commissioner Jim Gray, District 2 Commissioner Tony Ortiz, District 3 Robert Stewart, District 4 Patty Sheehan, District 5 Regina Hill, and District 6 Bakari Burns. So we've had a lot of accomplishments in our community, and I get asked a lot of times what's my favorite or what's the most important, what's the best. And I'm not actually going to answer this building. I'm going to answer the fact that we can collaborate and partner together and get big things done. And when I was first elected to office, Kathy Waltz was the publisher of the Orlando Sentinel. And she said something along the lines of, you know, I think Orlando doesn't always strive to be the best, that sometimes we settle for something less than the best. But she came back a number of years after that and said, you know what, this community can do anything that you set your collective mind together. And sometimes we take for granted in our community how well we all work together. And this building is probably the best example that you could give, the tourism community, the philanthropic community, the city, the county. And over the course of, Jim, it's 19 years, not 18, by the way, the course of 19 years, we've come together to time and time again to overcome adversity. And 19 years ago today, I was probably out knocking on doors trying to get elected mayor of Orlando because it was a special election to replace Glenda at the time. And I was fortunate enough to win that election, and Jim Pugh on election night was sitting in our ratty old campaign office with me, and I had run on the notion of doing a downtown performing arts center. That had been one of my promises. And he said, I would like to help you with that. It's okay. Jim had been a big supporter of mine and a friend for a long time and never asked me for anything. So he asked for the hardest possible job that he could possibly have. So thank you, Jim, for asking for that and making that happen. So right out of the chute, it was Jim and I, and Kathy Ramsberger had come on board to be the director of arts in the city of Orlando, and we made Kathy available as executive on loan initially to work with Jim, and it was only really the three of us at the outset, but then so many people joined the team, so great various donors that we had that came along that made significant gifts that in some cases were the highest gift that they had ever given in the history of the community. And then all the great board members. We had a board luncheon the other day and went through the history of how many people have served and been a part of this. And I couldn't be more proud of the people that have been on this journey for the last 19 years. And here we are at the end of the journey, at least this particular journey. So I am proud to be here. I'm proud of everybody that's been here. I want to especially say thanks to the Steinmetz for their contribution, and we honor you today especially. So if I could, I'd like to have Jim stand up, Kathy stand up, and the Steinmetzes stand up, and let's give them a big standing O. Would you do that with me? You're not going to notice that we're going to vary the program a little bit. Usually I would introduce Jerry Demings, but this time I am going to introduce the great congresswoman from our community, Val Demings, and go ahead and applaud. Val was our first female police chief, and when I appointed her police chief, I made it known that I didn't pick her because of her color or her sex. I picked her because she was absolutely the best person for that job, and she was highly acclaimed and did such a fabulous job as our police chief. And when she retired, the DCCC used to try to get me to run for Congress every 2 years, and I'd tell them no every 2 years. And they came by one year and said, hey, you need to run for Congress. I said, no, I don't, but I have a big surprise for you. I think that we have a candidate that would be strong and would make our community proud, and I'd like you to meet Val Demings, and the rest is history. Val Demings.
Well, let me say good morning to all of you. And I know each person here can imagine just how happy I am to be home in Orlando. Mayor Dyer, I want to thank you for that wonderful introduction. You know how I feel about you, but I have to say I am a little disappointed because I was supposed to be introduced by the Orange County Mayor, and I wanted to hear what he had to say. It is an honor for me to be here this morning for this very, very special occasion that we all truly have been waiting for. I'm delighted to be joined by my friend and colleague, Representative Darren Soto, as well. You know, there's a saying, and we all know it, that no one is perfect. And that's probably true. But today, we are about to witness a perfect place, a one-of-a-kind space, the Steinmetz Theater, right here at the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center, and right here in our community, and we should be so proud of that. Chuck and Marjorie Pabst Steinmetz, through their unwavering dedication to improving the quality of life for all persons in our community, through their keen understanding of the intersection of the arts, health, education, and wellness, through their unique ability to bring the community together, to help us dream big, to help us realize our full potential and create an unprecedented ability to collaborate and work together. The vision for this community has become reality. Chuck and Marjorie, there is no doubt in my mind that 100 years from now, that the Steinmetz Theater will continue to meet the needs of the people who come to visit from around the globe. And yes, I do believe they will look back 100 years and ask this question: how did they know? Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the podium Chuck and Margie Pabst Steinmetz. Thank you.
Now, if we were in Steinmetz Hall, we wouldn't need the amplification. Margie and I are about to explode with enthusiasm for what's been accomplished here in our community. Thousands of people were involved, and not only from the standpoint of how much money they gave, but also their work and involvement. I can't tell you how many meetings we have had over the last 18 years, 19 years, but there's been a lot of them. And all the emails and the phone calls and the thing. I remember one weekend when we had a very challenging situation. All of us came down here and worked all day Saturday and Sunday because we wanted to meet the challenge and accomplish what we set out to do. 16 years ago, along with my late wife, Lynn, we met Jim and Kathy in Santa Monica, and the purpose of the trip was to meet Barton Myers. And Barton was very open and gracious and happy to share with us what his vision was for this particular building. And I remember him telling me, he says, you know what we have to really concern ourselves with is how do people get in and how do they get out? And our place works wonderfully. It is so easy. And also, to have one building with 3 performance halls in it is unheard of anywhere. We had actually visited in Dallas where they built 3 different halls across the street from each other. So they have 3 overheads. It doesn't make sense. But anyways, we've done that. Another thing I wanted to bring up is a number of years ago, Kathy and I were invited to go to the Orlando Philharmonic board meeting. And Margie was on the board, by the way, at that time. And so anyways, when we got there and I stood up, the first question they asked was, are you really going to build this thing? And I said, absolutely. What's the next question? And we absolutely meant it. But it took a lot of effort to get people to commit to it. One story I wanted to share with you that I've always liked is there's a lovely woman that we lost her a few years ago named Annette Neal. And she came into the round building and she said, I was born and raised in Orlando. And I've always wanted to do something to help the community achieve a different level of success. And she says, I think that this project is exactly what we need to do. And right there on the spot, she said, and I will put $1 million into the project. So those are some of the exciting things that have happened. And, just to look at the whole structure and to look at how everything works is beyond belief. Kathy told us when we were going through the design process, she said, you're not going to believe the outcome. Well, couldn't imagine it, but we did. But in any event, this has been a wonderful occasion and a very important thing that we've accomplished. And now I'd like to turn over to my wife, Margie.
Good morning, Orlando. Great, I like it. Today we celebrate this magnificent building. Thank you again, Barton Myers. I'm a believer that architecture raises our sights and our minds to great things, and have you and all of our community accomplish that. So thank you very much. On this day, I also think about all the artists, all the musicians, the writers, the painters, the people who will come to the Dr. Phillips Center and to Steinmetz Hall for, as Val mentioned, the next 100 years, and the feeling example of a person whose name is Rema Bergeron Langlois. And Rema, where are you, Rema? I know you're out there. Where are you? I don't see her. Anyway, Rema is the concertmaster for the Orlando Philharmonic Orchestra. She's been the concertmaster since 2011, and we're all happy to have her. Here are Rema's words about Steinmetz Hall. She says, I had the privilege to be a part of the Steinmetz Hall acoustical tuning in December. The sound was so special. I couldn't help but think how amazing it will be to play there with my colleagues. Personally, it will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to play with artists from around the world, and I'm looking forward in March to playing the Navarra duet with one of the foremost violinists of our time, Gilles Saham. I've performed all over the world in many halls. Other cities don't have a Steinmetz, but Orlando does. Orlando and the Orlando Philharmonic deserve it, and I agree with Rema. Dreams can come true here. So many of the people we talk to, they say, we won't have to go to London. We won't have to go to New York. We won't have to go to Budapest. We can be right here in Orlando and realize our dreams. You know, Chuck and I feel like the opportunities, and we're dreamers, we think we're dreamers, but I don't think any of us here today can dream about what the opportunities are that are going to come to this city, to our artists, to all of us. And so I wish we could be here 100 years from now, but we'll be looking down and saying, now we know what those opportunities were. So we're here to celebrate that wonderful cultural identity that we can build right here in Orlando. And we want to thank you all for coming.
And we introduce Kathy. Now it's our pleasure to introduce Kathy Ramsberger. And I'll tell you the truth, without Kathy and Jim, we would have never made it. She's been remarkable. So I'm so pleased to ask her to come up.
Thank you, Chuck and Marjorie. At this point, we'll take a second to transition to a second video.
I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care if they call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. However big, however small, let me be a part of it all. Share your dreams with me. We may be right, we may be wrong, but I wanna bring you along to the world I see, to the
Good morning, good afternoon. We're so happy to see you. I wanted to share a phrase that we have at the Dr. Phillips Center that we adopted probably the first year. It's tuck and roll. And we've had a lot of tuck and rolls along this 18, 19-year journey, and we actually have a little one right now, but it's a wonderful one. And I have the great privilege to switch up our program a little bit and introduce you to a wonderful leader who jumped right in when he took office to help us finish the Dr. Phillips Center, Mayor Demings.
All right, good afternoon to all of you. Thank you, Kathy. I am just elated to live in a community that invests in the performing arts. I'm not quite sure that any of us here today can fully grasp the magnitude of what this facility means not only to the present generation, but to future generations. I'm elated because I have 4 granddaughters who are ballet dancers. And I just really look forward to the day that perhaps one of them can be performing on these various stages here in the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. This is just an extraordinary opportunity that our community has to have invested in this facility. I get to work with 6 members of the Board of County Commission, and I believe several of them are here today. Commissioners Moore, Uribe, and Gomez-Cordero. And if I have missed any of them, this is a true example of what a public, private, and philanthropic partnership can mean to a community. I really look forward to the future of what else we can do collaboratively together to make the magic happen here in this community. So to the entire team of visionary leaders, from former mayors to Mayor Dyer and to all of our community investors who have invested in believing in our community, on behalf of the 1.4 million people who call Orange County home, I say thank you for making certain that we were able to be here today for this ribbon-cutting ceremony. I look forward to what the future brings for all of us. God bless you all, and may God bless this community.
So also joining us today is our, remarkable group of leaders that have been with the project just as long as almost Jim and myself. It's our executive committee. And without fail, they've met every month and have been the compass to get the project delivered as we promised. And I'd like to introduce them very quickly. Linda Chapin has been here, of course. Chuck Steinmetz, Ed Timberlake, Sybil Pritchard, Jeff Bittenbinder, Bill Oros, and Joyce Green, who could not be here today, and they've all been led, of course, by our chairman, Jim Pugh. So, when the mayor asked Jim and I to be part of this, he gave us one really clear direction. It ought to feel like it's for everyone. And that was kind of the light that drew us to the project, and we said, okay, let's understand how we can evolve an industry when the buildings have been surrounding their businesses for 100 years. Performing arts centers, they're not always approachable. They don't feel as welcome as they could for every person. So that was kind of our charge, and we had the chance to do it. We developed years ago our vision, which is Arts for Every Life, and it has been something that is in front of our minds for all of our teams, is how does this feel approachable and friendly for everybody? And I think Barton delivered a great building with his team, and he let our purpose drive the architecture, which is, not always easy to do. But it's been received very well over the past 8 years. You couldn't do it, of course, without a remarkable board. The leadership here has been, they've been so forthcoming with their commitment, a relentless commitment when things get hard. And what you understand is you really know that you're going to get something done when people stick together, and they certainly have done that with us. To do a project like this, most art centers take about 20 plus years to build, so we're kind of right on track. We always thought that we could get it done a lot faster, but it was certainly worth waiting for. The most important component is alignment. And when you have that vision and you can keep a group of people aligned along with the community, it's important. We always had 3 keys to success, and they were a big idea, strong leadership, and consistent and clear communication. And to deliver Arts for Every Life and have this wonderful building with it being alive every day, most art centers aren't alive every day. We have a team that is so committed to making sure that this piece of property is filled with people all the time. And to do and have the success and the recognition that this organization has received is because of the people that work here. And we have a remarkable group of colleagues, and I'd like to recognize some of them right now because they lead great teams here. Cecilia Kelly's been our CFO for years and years. Spencer Tong is our Executive Vice President of Operations, and boy, does he have a big job connecting a building to an existing building from an architectural perspective, but also from an operational perspective. Alexis Jackson has led our development effort for over 10 years and has done a remarkable job. Sherry Peterson leads a great team that's about our brand and our marketing, and she's done a fantastic job since she's joined our team. Mr. Ed Cassis leads our programming, and you're going to see a wonderful work that he has actually developed and produced for the opening. Building a team is tough, and it's the most rewarding part of this project, but building a culture is even as more challenging and rewarding, and we've done that with the leadership of Mary Beth Harufka, who's our VP of People and Culture. And then we know that our business is important to other businesses, and that's led by Jess Beers of sponsorship, right? And then finally, how do we connect to the community? And Rachel Moali has been with our team and has led a great effort to make sure that you feel that this is part of your journey as much as it is ours. So I think the most important thing that we all can be proud of, and others can be proud of 100 years from now, as everyone has mentioned, is the placemaking that has occurred here with the wonderful names that are behind it. I remember having the chance to walk through many buildings, and in the New York City Library, I was walking up the steps and I saw on a plaque, I said, these names of these remarkable people. And I kept wondering, who are they? And they must have really had a passion around sharing their success with their gifts to these centers. And if you just walk through our building and approach the building, years from now, people are going to do the same thing with the Dr. Phillips Charities giving us the naming gift. The Walt Disney Theater is one of the best Broadway theaters outside of New York. Steinmetz Hall, of course. The Pew Theater is not just a black box. It is a true community theater. Advent House School of the Arts. The Senef Arts Plaza. And now we are going to have a new hall, Judson's, which is going to be open in the spring. And that's a tribute to Judson Green, who's just remarkable. Another music room for our community to enjoy. So, it's something. What a remarkable amount of people that have had the chance to name the building. But to do this, we have over 15,000 donors that have entrusted us with a gift. And that makes this the community's theater, when you have that many people behind you. So, I say this, the journey is always about the people. Our board, our donors, our elected officials, our colleagues, and most importantly, our families. You know, these projects are tough, and our families have been with us all along the way, and that makes it even more worthwhile. So the success of the last 8 years, we want to share a little something with you too, because we've been talking about building the building, but we've come alive, and it's a remarkable testament that people do want to be at the Dr. Phillips Center. Ready?
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Off from my city, off from my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body, it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. More like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights, when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good creeping up on you, so just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I can't stop the. I can't stop the. I can't stop the. I can't stop the. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good creeping up on you, so just dance, dance, dance. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. Everybody say.
What do you guys think about a toast? Sound good? All right. We didn't think of, we remembered you guys. They're right over here.
To members in the audience, feel free to grab a sip as we get ready for an official toast.
There's a lot of glasses of champagne. Reach over and pick up one, please.
Here we are. It's amazing, Jim. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely. Come on.
Okay, I'm good. Right behind you. All right. Not yet. There's some people coming in, so everyone's good.
I was thinking about dedicating the building.
That'd be a great idea. Yeah, something like that. When she's getting one. Put them all together.
Oh, yes. but it's important, you know? It's important. This is good. This is
Everybody gets a glass.
Everyone get a glass of champagne? It'd be my honor today to dedicate this building to Buddy Dyer. And all of you that love the arts, thank you. God bless you.
Cheers. Cheers.
Let's celebrate. There's a party going on right here. A celebration to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We gon' celebrate your party with you.
Thank you all for joining us today. Please enjoy this early happy hour. To our media members, we will start with press availability in about 10 minutes.
We gon' celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on. It's a celebration. It's a celebration. Celebrate good times. Come on. Let's celebrate.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. They're clean. 'Cause my hand is clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin
The
clean.
kid does have a
That's
point.
My hand